AI can do a lot of the heavy lifting when it comes to writing product descriptions, but without knowing what a world-class product description looks like, it's hard to know what's a good response and what's a bad response. So I've gone through my 5 favourite books on advertising from some of the greatest admen that ever lived and picked out some points we need to consider when writing product descriptions. Let's start off by going through Claude Hopkins' Scientific Advertising, one of the best books ever written on this topic. It's everything I always preach about being short, concise and to the point, but packed full of value. Claude says there is one simple way to answer many advertising questions. Ask yourself, would it help a salesman sell the goods? Would it help me sell them if I met a buyer in person? A fair answer to those questions avoids countless mistakes, but when one tries to show off or does things merely to please himself, he is little likely to strike a chord which leads people to spend money. So for us, when we're writing product descriptions, we need to ask ourselves, does what we're saying right now actually help the customer understand the benefit of the thing that they're getting? Others look for something queer and unusual. They want ads distinctive in style or illustration. Would you want that from a salesman? Do not men who act and dress in normal ways make a far better impression? Ads are not written to entertain. When they do, those entertainment seekers are little likely to be the people whom you want. When we're writing our product descriptions, we don't need to be clever, cute, funny. We just need to say, this feature gives this benefit. The people you address are selfish, as we all are. They care nothing about your interests or your profit. They seek service for themselves. So when we're writing, we need to imagine that they're asking us constantly, what's in that for me? The motto there is, the more you tell, the more you sell. So we don't want to miss out on any important points about the product. We want to break it down for the customer, make them really understand what they're getting. People do not read ads for amusement. They don't read ads which at a glance seem to offer nothing interesting. Always bear these facts in mind. People are hurried. The average person worth cultivating has too much to read. We learn that cheapness is not a strong appeal. They want bargains but not cheapness. They want to feel that they can afford to eat and have and wear the best. Treat them as if they could not and they will resent your attitude. I've really struggled with this one early on in my career because I come from a totally different state of mind, but you have to train yourself not to do this because it will hold you back. When a man knows something belongs to him, something with his name on it, he'll make an effort to get it. This isn't going to be possible on the majority of the products that we sell, but it illustrates the importance of perceived ownership. If we can tell a story that helps them to imagine themselves owning the product, we might be able to nudge them a little bit closer to clicking the buy button. There is a great deal in mental impression. Submit 5 articles exactly alike and 5 people may choose one of them. But point out in one some quality to notice and everyone will find them. The 5 people then will all choose the same article. If people can be made sick or well by mental impression, they can be made to favour a certain brand in that way. He's talking about differentiating here, and that is something we can sometimes do when a manufacturer has made multiple versions of the same product. What they'll often do is they'll have an entry-level product that will be the cheapest, then they'll have one up from that will cost a bit more and it'll have a few more features, and then they'll have their premium version of the product that will have the most features and that one will cost the most. What we want to do is we want to make a big deal about those additional features that you get on that model and explain what the benefit is behind those particular features. Platitudes and generalities roll off the human understanding like water from a duck's back. They leave no impression whatsoever. To say best in the world, lowest price in existence, etc. is at best claiming the expected, but superlatives of that sort are usually damaging. They suggest looseness of expression, a tendency to exaggerate a careless truth. They lead the reader to discount all the statements that you make. A man inclined to superlatives must expect that his every statement will be taken with some caution, but a man who makes a specific claim is either telling the truth or a lie. People do not expect an advertiser to lie. They know that he can't lie in the best mediums, so a definite statement is usually accepted. Actual figures are not generally discounted. Specific facts, when stated, have their full weight and effect. So when we're writing our product descriptions, we don't use superlatives. We have the information, and if we don't have it, we can do our own research to make specific claims about the feature and the benefit you get from the feature. Pictures should not be used merely because they are interesting or to attract attention or to decorate an ad. You are writing on a serious subject, the subject of money spending. Use pictures only to attract those who may profit you. Use them only when they form a better selling argument than the same amount of space set in type. An eccentric picture may do you serious damage. One may gain attention by wearing a fool's cap, but he would ruin his selling prospects. Don't be like a salesman who wears conspicuous clothes. The small percentage he appeals to are not usually good buyers. Be normal in everything that you do when you are seeking confidence and conviction. So if we're using pictures on the product page, it should illustrate some sort of point that we're making to make it easier for the customer to understand. A soap may tend to cure eczema. It may at the same time improve complexion. The eczema claim might appeal to 1 in 100, while the beauty claims would appeal to nearly all. To even mention the eczema claims might destroy the beauty claims. This is an important one because we don't want to be excluding the majority of people from buying our product, so we don't want to get too specific. We want to major on what the majority of people want and then minor on the specific aspects. In this case, we could actually group those things together and make a point somewhere in the content that this soap is so good for your skin that it's even been proven to cure eczema. We wouldn't want to lead with that, but that would be a way of phrasing this scenario to not put people off and make them think that's all it's for, and instead increase their trust in the product's ability to improve their complexion, assuming all of what was claimed here is true. Show a bright side, the happy and attractive side, not the dark and uninviting side of things. Show beauty, not homeliness, health, not sickness. Don't show the wrinkles you propose to remove, but the face as it will appear. Your customers know all about the wrinkles. In advertising a dentist, show pretty teeth, not bad teeth. Talk of coming good conditions, not conditions that exist. In advertising clothes, picture well-dressed people, not the shabby. Picture successful men, not failures when advertising a business course. Picture what others wish to be, not what they may be now. We are attracted by sunshine, beauty, happiness, health and success. Point the way to them, not the way out of the opposite. Picture envied people, not the envious. Tell people what to do, not what to avoid. Assume that people will do what you ask. Say send now for a free sample. Don't say why do you neglect this offer. This suggests that people are neglecting. Invite them to follow the crowd. What we need to take from this is instead of talking about how bad the person's situation is right now while they don't have the thing, talk about how good it will be when they do get the thing. Now we're going to look at Confessions of an Advertising Man by David Ogilvy, one of the greatest advertisers who ever lived and someone I've looked up to for many, many years. The headline is the most important element in most advertisements. On average, 5 times as many people read the headline as read the body copy. If you haven't done some selling in your headline, you have wasted 80% of your client's money. Why I'm bringing this up is because in our subheadings throughout our product description, we need to be doing exactly this. Tell people the benefit, what they're going to get from this product, and put it in the subheading because a lot of people are skim reading. Do not say anything in your headline which is likely to exclude any readers who might be prospects for your product. Thus, if you are advertising a product which can be used equally well by men and women, don't slant your headline at women alone. It would frighten men away. This is the same point Claude Hopkins was making earlier with the soap, and there's not really a way around it in this scenario, so we would just want to avoid doing this. Every headline should appeal to the reader's self-interest. It should promise her a benefit. And that's one of the most important things to understand from all of this, is we always need to be showing people what's in it for them if they decide to buy this thing. What are they getting? What's in it for me? People are more likely to read your body copy if your headline arouses their curiosity. Some copywriters write tricky headlines, pun, literary allusions, and other obscurities. This is a sin. Readers travel so fast through the jungle that they don't stop to decipher the meaning of obscure headlines. Your headline must telegraph what you want to say, and it must telegraph it in plain language. Remember that we're not trying to impress people with how smart we are. We're trying to sell products, and we do that by being as clear and concise as possible with our subheadings. Research shows that it is dangerous to use negatives in headlines. If, for example, you write "Our salt contains no arsenic," many readers will miss the negative and go away with the impression that you wrote "Our salt contains arsenic." Avoid using blind headlines, the kind which mean nothing unless you read the body copy underneath them. Most people don't. When you sit down to write your body copy, pretend that you are talking to the woman on your right at a dinner party. She has asked you, "I'm thinking of buying a new car. Which would you recommend?" Write your copy as if you was answering that question. Don't beat about the bush, go straight to the point. And avoid superlatives, generalizations and platitudes. Be specific and factual. Be enthusiastic, friendly and memorable. Don't be a bore, tell the truth but make the truth fascinating. Unless you have some special reason to be solemn and pretentious, write your copy in colloquial language which your customers use in everyday conversation. It's so important to understand the language people who buy these products use, and it's easy to do now. All you need to do is find a terminology article that explains all the different terminology that's used in that industry, read through it, understand it, then go off to a forum about that industry and read through what real people are saying right now, and just take a mental note of any words they're using, how they're structuring their sentences, and then have a watch of some YouTube videos, and in about 2 hours you can totally understand the language that people use and start using it in your own product descriptions. Resist the temptation to write the kind of copy which wins awards. I am always gratified when I win an award, but most of the campaigns which produce results never win awards because they don't draw attention to themselves. And that's a good thing, because we don't want awards, we want to sell products. Good copywriters have always resisted the temptation to entertain. Their achievement lies in the number of new products they get off to a flying start. Let's now have a look through his other book, Ogilvy on Advertising. What is a good advertisement? An advertisement which pleases you because of its style, or an advertisement which sells the most? They are seldom the same. I was having this conversation with someone a little while ago when they were telling me about how good this advert was that they saw, and they asked if I'd seen it, and I said it doesn't ring a bell, what was it for? And they said they didn't remember what it was for. So in our measurement here, that wouldn't be a very good advertisement because they didn't even remember what it was for. It might have been entertaining, but it likely never sold them the product. I'm not saying that charming, witty and warm copy won't sell. I'm just saying I've seen thousands of charming, witty campaigns that didn't. Let's say you're a manufacturer, your advertising isn't working and your sales are going down, and everything depends on it. Your future depends on it, your family's future depends on it, other people's families depend on it, and you walk into this office and talk to me and you sit in that chair. Now what do you want from me? Fine writing? Do you want masterpieces? Do you want glowing things that can be framed by copywriters? Or do you want to see the goddamn sales curve stop moving down and start moving up? Originality is the most dangerous word in advertising. Mozart said, "I have never made the slightest effort to compose anything original." This is really important for us because we're writing hundreds of product descriptions for products that are all quite similar and have very similar features. We don't need each product's description to be totally unique and original, and we want to make sure that every product clearly explains the benefit of each feature the product has, even if this feels somewhat repetitive. Imagine if you explained the benefit of a feature on product A and didn't on product B. Both have the feature, but we don't explain it on product B, and someone comes to the website and looks at product B and not product A. They'll never know what they missed out on. So we always have to describe it, and we make it a little bit different to address issues with duplicate content. Do not address your readers as though they were gathered together in a stadium. When people read copy, they are alone. Pretend you are writing each of them a letter on behalf of your client, one human being to another. It pays to write short sentences and short paragraphs and to avoid difficult words. We never want to give readers of our product descriptions a hard time. We want to make everything super easy for them, and so short paragraphs, short sentences, simple words are definitely the way to go. I advise you to avoid analogies. Gallup has found that they are widely misunderstood. If you are writing copy for a face cream and use "just as plants require moisture, so too does your skin," readers do not complete the equation. Stay away from superlatives like "our product is the best in the world." Gallup calls this brag and boast. It convinces nobody. It's a good thing to use close-ups when your product is the hero of your commercial. The closer you get to the candy bar, the more you make people's mouths water. This is very relevant to us because if we're talking about a specific feature of the product, we can zoom into the product on that feature and then embed that in our product description to show people the feature we're talking about. Okay, let's have a look through Write to Sell, the ultimate guide to great copywriting. This is another really useful book. It's got a lot of practical advice we can take when writing our product descriptions. The reader isn't interested in features. Oh sure, they'll tell you they are. Nobody is going to make a purchase without checking out all the features, right? But it's the benefits that make the sale happen. This is a point that's come up a few times, but it's good because repetition is the key to learning. If you're writing a product description for a computer chair with lumbar support, The prospect is asking, well, what's in that for me? And we need to answer with the benefit, which in this case is better posture and a pain-free back. A comfortable seat that molds to the unique shape of your spine, giving you the support you need the whole day through. Notice how much better that is than just saying it's got good lumbar support. We need to be careful though, because we must ensure what we're saying is actually true. People want to know why they should buy, not what they should buy. You have to write for your reader and only your reader. Doing anything else risks losing them through boredom. Remember that your reader is a human being with all that entails: hopes, fears, desires, vices. Do your research, go and find out what your reader is like, or use your imagination. And benefits make the sale. Features allow your reader to rationalise their decision to buy. Remember that people make emotional decisions and then justify them with logic. Explaining the features gives them the logic they need to justify the purchase to their spouse, boss, mother, or even themselves. Creative doesn't pay the bills. I like David Ogilvy's take on creativity. When I write an advertisement, I don't want you to tell me that you find it creative. I want you to find it so interesting that you buy the product. Here's why creativity is a problem for us. Writers, even sales writers, tend to be creative by nature, and many love playing with words. I guess that figures. Carpenters like working with wood, and I assume blacksmiths like working with iron. But we need to make sure that our playfulness doesn't become a goal in itself. The first sign that you should dump a piece of copy is when it makes you smile. If you're feeling so pleased with it, you show it to a colleague with a "look at this" grin. That's the second. The clincher is if you ask yourself whether it will persuade the reader to buy and you answer no. In creative writing circles, there's a choice phrase for this moment in a writer's life: murder your darlings. The writer isn't suggesting that you shouldn't feel proud of the work you do here, because you should. He's simply saying if you're feeling proud of the creativity you've brought to this product description, you've likely lost sight of the goal, which is to inform the customer why they should buy this product. When a big US advertising agency tested headlines for print ads, they ran the same ad with 3 different headlines, one delivering news, one promising a benefit, and one arousing curiosity. Which do you think outpulled the others? The answer was, of course, the benefits. Curiosity can be good, but it's good to think of it as something that gets people to go somewhere where they wouldn't usually go. But if they're already on the product page, we're always going to be better off using benefits. Staying focused on your reader. Every word and sentence you write must mean something to your reader. Think of what you're doing as reeling in a fish. Keep the line taut and you can bring it safely into the net. Let the line go slack through sloppy writing or just plain boring writing, and off it goes downstream in search of watery pleasures. Your opening sentence, whether on a web page, ad or sales letter, is your main chance to hook readers for the journey. Address them directly, start talking about them and their concerns, needs and wants, and you have their undivided attention. Well, maybe not their undivided attention, but enough of it to start making your case. From that point on, you have to keep your reader front and centre. Imagine that they're sitting opposite you. Talk to them. Try to gauge their reaction to each new sentence. Have you just said something interesting? Or are they staring out the window? Or are they looking at a newspaper? Long copy will generally outpull short copy, but remember that's long interesting copy, not long boring copy. If we've got a lot of benefits to share, we'll do better with longer product descriptions. Here he's showing some examples of wordliness, where 3 words are used where 1 could be used, for example. And this is something we've got to watch for. Instead of "our office is situated in the city of Manchester," "we are in Manchester." At the present point of time, "we are offering" should be "we're offering." Never use a long word when a short one will do. If it's possible to cut out a word, always cut it out. Never use the passive voice when you could use the active voice. Never use a foreign phrase, a scientific word, or a jargon word if you can think of an everyday English equivalent. We're always trying to make it easy for customers to understand the products they're considering buying. As soon as we make it complicated, we lose the sale. And finally, we're going to have a look through Victor Schwab's How to Write a Good Advertisement. People want to gain health, time, money, popularity, improved appearance, security in old age, praise from others, comfort, leisure, pride of accomplishment, achievement, whether business or social, increased enjoyment, self-confidence, personal prestige. People want to be good parents, sociable, hospitable, up-to-date, creative, proud of their possessions, influential over others, gregarious, efficient, first to do things, recognised as authorities. Things they want to do are express their personalities, resist domination by others, satisfy their curiosity, emulate the admirable, appreciate beauty, acquire or collect things, win others' affection, improve themselves generally. And then the things they're trying to save are time, money, work, discomfort, worry, doubt, risks, personal embarrassment. It's not a hard rule, but sometimes it's a good idea to read back through your product description and make sure that you're including one of these things. The real advertising writer who is after results makes the reader want something and then provides what the reader will consider a good excuse for buying it. This comes back to the point I made earlier about people making emotional decisions and then justifying it with logic. The longer your copy can hold people, the more of them you will sell, and the more interesting your copy is, the longer you will hold them. If you can keep your reader interested, you'll have a better chance of propelling him to action. If you cannot do that, then too small an amount of copy won't push him far enough anyway. So we want longer, more detailed copy where we're showing people all the benefits of this feature that the product's got. What subject interests your reader most? Himself and his family. What your product will do for him or his family. It's amazing how much copy any person will read willingly if it continues to point out these consumer benefits, if you keep making your product win advantages for him. Good readability makes longer copy seem shorter. Some of the things we can do to help that are begin with the strongest consumer benefit fact. That's the first thing. And remember that what's stale news to you as the advertiser might be fresh news to the reader, the person reading the product description. Also, touch people on points of common human contact. Make them think, yes, that's just like me. Longer copy does not mean looser copy, mere verbiage. Keep it compact, well integrated. Its job is not to fill up white space, not to make the reader say like Shakespeare's King John, I was never so befumped with words. It is a good job to propel people through holding their interest longer to the point of purchase, or as near to it as possible. Paragraphs should be short with sparing use of italics and bold. Sometimes it looks good to put the first paragraph of the product description in a slightly larger font. The subheadings should be frequent and bold enough to break up any long pieces of copy, but not enough to distract the reader from the sequential flow of the content. Use as much copy as you can without sacrificing attention getting and attention holding power. The further you want to propel your reader along the road to a completed sale, the more copy you will need. The higher the price, the more copy you are likely to need in order to get immediate action. Advertisers who can check results accurately find a close relationship between the amount they are trying to get and the number of words necessary to get it. Also significant is the remark, there must be something to it to be able to talk about it that much. Now let's think about this for a moment, because this is important. If you're trying to convince someone that this product is really great, but you can only come up with 50 words to say why it's so good, it's not going to set the right impression in the customer's mind. Subheadings are like ladder rungs, which make it easier and more inviting for the reader to keep going down through more of the body matter of an advertisement. The weaker and fewer the rungs, the more likely he is to drop beyond any further interest in continuing his readership association with your message. They make the product description more skimmable, and they also encourage people to keep reading on because they can see that there's something interesting coming up based on what you wrote in the subheading. Subheadings will make your body matter look more inviting, less formidable, will help you get more of it read, enable it to achieve a higher read most rating. Many readers, although intrigued by the headline, quickly call off at the sight of long body matter following. A subheading can increase their interest in what the body matter is going to tell them. Now we've gone through a lot of important information in a short amount of time here, but you don't need to remember everything shared word for word. You just need to understand the principles these advertising legends were sharing with us. If there's any of this you didn't understand, ask the question. I'm always happy to help. Now go off and use these tips to help you write informative, benefit-driven product descriptions that sell more products to more people.